know this lady's name, but she goes under the name of Syra Dagger 8, which makes you wonder, doesn't it? But anyway, so she's come on YouTube. I just want to say this: in the future, this year 2021, if you subscribe and you give us your details, you won't be bombarded with stuff. But what we're going to do is the stuff that we do have will be discounted to those members. You know, we're making a series of films now. I said to you the other day, we're going away from discs to pegs that go in the side of a computer. We've just bought some new stuff and it doesn't even have a place to put a disc in, you know, new computer stuff. I don't understand it. I really don't. And I don't think I ever will. I do try, but I'm really hopeless. So anyway, for people that subscribe and so that we can contact you, there will be all our merchandise will be for those subscribers. Also, the other thing is, please subscribe. Please share with anybody, which is a very important thing to do. We're already grown like massively. I think we're over 20 million hits on YouTube. We're certainly not looking for work at all. We've got plenty of work. But the point of it is that I don't want to say it's I don't really want to put it like that. I don't know how to put it. I suppose you could say what I want to do is show what can be done with firmness but kindness, with all horse training. What can be done, as opposed to, well, anyway, let's just say lots of people all got their own ideas. If I can drive all those films you see on YouTube in very heavy traffic, in every sort of situation possible, and all they've got is a soft piece of rubber in their mouth as opposed to any sort of cantilever bit, then that must say something. It's a job that you've got to love. You've got to be dedicated to it. And when we do 7 days a week, you know, certainly 360 days a year anyway. But then even so, you know, I'll be out there Christmas morning mucking them out just the same as any other morning. And there's only me and Ree. Everybody thinks we've got a great load of people work. It's just me and Ree. And we're a real good team. You know, we've been together a long while now, or a good while, coming 3 years. And, you know, I mean, Ree's a trainer in her own right. But I wouldn't be any good that side of the camera. So you don't really see much. But in her own right, she's very, very good. And she's normally who you liaise on with and who you meet when you come here. Quite often does all the paperwork and bits and pieces. Anyway, we just had this question come in from Cornwall. Let me just say, because we get people from around the world. Cornwall, I'm just going to show you actually because it's interesting. Get me paper up. Down in Cornwall, they do this. They take stone, local stone, bits of stone, and they build them up like this. You know, all the way up here, yeah, and up this side, like that. And this will be a barrier on the side of the road. And this will all be filled with soil in the middle. So, you know, if your stone come up like that, yeah, and up this side, and they'll fill the middle with soil down in Cornwall. I'm sure that's right. And the top will have grass on it, you know, growing like that. You see it in other parts of the world as well. But then you'll have your roadway here, and this is what you'll be using, you know, and this will be on the side of the road, like a hedge would be, or a fence. So I can understand exactly where this lady's coming from. So I can only go, again, on what we do. There's no point in me saying there's this or that. I can only say what I know that works for me. Now, where we are, we have a lot of tall hedges that are not often cut back or trimmed, you know, with the hedge cutter. Some are, some aren't. So we suffer a little bit, not suffer, we have the same problem to overcome. So how do you relate this to the traffic that's around you, etc.? Well, there's a very, very simple way that I think is absolutely marvellous makes life so much easier. Right, and I'll get one down here. So this is a piece of plastic conduit tube. Yeah, I mean, I'll turn that round actually, excuse me, going over the camera. So if we do a close-up on that in a minute, you'll see there the label thing, right? Okay, so what do we do with this? I nearly knocked my camera over there. Well, what we do, this is very, very cheap to buy. It's conduit pot. It's what they would, you could probably, this one I'll find the best one, but I don't think waterpipe's as good as this. It's a bit too flexible. But this one's quite stiff. So it bends nicely, look, can you see? You know, if I do that with it, you can see it moving, yeah? So you can buy a link for this. It's not much money, maybe, I don't know, a few pounds. And I connect this to the back of the cart, whether it's a 2 or 4 wheeler, upright like that, yeah? So there. So then what I do is fix one of these things on, which you can buy these anywhere out of a cycle shop, and they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, we didn't have this, you know, years ago. It's only recently this type of stuff. So little LED light, tiny battery in there, lasts forever, and it will do that, and it will flash, and it will, you know, different flashing, and it'll do that. So if you take that simple thing, I think these ones, I think Ree gets them and she buys them, I don't know, a few at a time, in bulk maybe you could say, I don't really know. But they're very simple, they've got this on. So this would also fix to the back of your vehicle directly. But we're talking about Cornwall, down there in the West Country of England. But it's the same lot of places around the world that, you know, got the same sort of problem. Real narrow lanes, yeah. It was never really industrialised down there very much. So there isn't big wide roads, lots of narrow lanes. And so that's one thing. There's 2 parts to this question. The other one is hill work, but we'll talk about that. So if you just take this and imagine it putting it on the end, I'm going to put it down here so that you can sort of down here a bit further, so you can see it, yeah? There. That one there, that's it. So if that's on your cart, yeah? If I put it up here and just hold it tight there like that, right? And we put the light on, yeah? Or we put it on flashing maybe. And you do that, you know, you can imagine it when it's right up the top of this stick, it'll boot. Now what I reckon the right length to have is around about 8 feet long. I think this is sold in about 2 metre bits, you know. So 2 metres, you know, 6'6". So by the time you've got your cart, you know, whatever height that is, now how do you fix this to that? Well, numerous ways. I mean, basically, you know, a bit of DIY if you like. So you get a tube that's a bit bigger, fix that to your vehicle, maybe a couple of foot long, fix that with cable ties, all bought over the counter, very simple, very cheap to do. And then you've got a light stuck right up in the air. So the light now is far higher than your head, you know. So if you're sat on a cart, so if I'm sat here, for instance, you can't see, but I'll put my hand up, it's right up the top there, yeah? That you can see right up the top. So if that's going like that as you're going down the road with the light on the top flashing as it moves about on the vehicle, excellent idea. Now we make these all the time for ourselves, but ours are a little bit more elaborate maybe because of the amount of miles we do. I mean, in the summertime, we're averaging 350, 345 a week in miles that we drive with horses. In the winter time, it's cut down to about, well, it depends, as the evenings gets lighter, but on an average, about 220s up to 240, something like that, average miles a week. So it's very important that we've got a light and be seen. Also on our carriages, we have indicators, brake lights, and 4-way flashers, and side lights, and they're quite powerful. But obviously we do it, it's our living, and we obviously spend the money on having the best we can to be seen on the road. What I like about it, a light, is any driver these days will react to it. You know, they're used to seeing a light in front, a brake light, a light flashing. So if that's way above, you know, whatever you need in Cornwall, that will help. The next part of the question was on hill work. How do you do that? Well, obviously your horse or pony needs to be strong enough to pull whatever you're asking to pull up the hill. The other thing is he's got to be fit enough, hasn't he? And we find that horses, most horses well, all horses that come here without exception, I can't think of an exception anyway, will all end up doing 14 miles. So 14 miles, will go out 7 miles, you know, at the trot, when they're all done and finished, ready to go home. They'll go at the trot all the way down, working trot. We'll stop and have a cup of coffee. They'll have their drink and, you know, a nose bag sometimes, or some grub if it happens to be that time of day that we're out. And then off we come home. And they will skip along and do that, and they don't come in the yard dripping in sweat and puffing because they're fit. What is horse that is fit? Well, you know, most people think their horses are fit, but they're not at all, you know. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases that's true. So most important is get your horse fit. Also, I would say for me, but again, we're back to the farrier again, I would put road nails. But it's where you put the road nails. Now, if we have a lot of horses out of the West Country to train, obviously all over the country, all over Europe, come to that, you get plenty in from Europe in general. So I would say to Joe, you know, our farrier, I said, look, or even Jack, if he's shoeing some, I'd say to him, look, this horse going back to the West Country, so, or Cumbria up in the fells, you know, where you've got the fell and the Lake District. Might be better to put some road nails in this horse. So we'd fix the road nails, but it's where you put them, because obviously the horse is going uphill, we've got to place them right in the shoe. Now, the only way he's going to know that is how the shoe's worn as to where he's going to place them. Now, he can make a hole anywhere in the shoe and just drop the pin in, yeah? Or he might put them in the heel, might put them towards the toe. I couldn't say to you, or certainly wouldn't dream to tell Joe how to shoot them. You know, he'd shoot them how he wants. But he'd look at the shoe, the way it's worn, and think, yeah, he's going to want that when he's getting up them hills, want to get his back legs under him and pull and get a grip and not slip, you know. So that's as much as I can say. But that conduit piping, conduit it's called, it's not very much money. You get the light, put that on, and that will make the world of difference and will boost your confidence. The other thing I would say, I haven't got one, I did have a look, but this is what I find is really, really good. If I just show you, with me a bit of paper again. If you've got a container, like for instance, one of them big gallon containers in yellow plastic, you know, it might have bleach in it or something like that. Oh, that's what I have anyway, we have it for the stables. So them big yellow containers, what I do is, you know what, everyone knows what a zip tie is, or cable tie now, don't they? I mean, I'll say that a couple of years ago, I didn't have a clue. Anyway, so what I do, I get a piece of the side of a container, a bright colour. Yellow is good, yeah? Yellow is very good. So what I do then, or black is great. Black as a colour, you think, no, that's no good. Then what I do, so say this is the gallon container, yeah? So I take a piece like this and cut this out, yeah? And I drill 2 little holes here and here, yeah? Like that, yeah? Now imagine this is in bright yellow. Bright yellow is a good one, but if it's in black, yeah, that's okay. And then what we do, so if I just colour this in black quickly to show you a little bit, you know, what we do. And this works so well, makes things much safer. If we take a bit of this ordinary electrical tape, buy it anywhere, any, you know, hardware shop or them superstore places, you know. This is a new one. We only ever have yellow and green, I suppose, because that's our colours. Everything's yellow and green here. I'll tell you a story about that one day, how that started. I'll get this off here. These tapes are always, and this, you know, it's winter time. This has just come in from out in the storeroom, and it's freezing cold. But yeah, we're away now, I think, are we? So when you get this tape, in fact, I'll show you on the stick, because that's already very black. So I'll show you on that, because that would be interesting for you to see. So if you get this, they've done some research, and rather than black and white, yellow and black is better to see, you know. So if you just wind that round your stick, yeah, like that. So you've got some stripes around there, or even if you do it like this, for instance, you know, wrapping it round a few times, it gets more yellow as you wrap it round like this, yeah. And you put another one there. Like that. And then you've got your light on the top. So you can see then, you know, it looks real good and it's very, very noticeable. We bring it down here a bit between these two bits of yellow. You see what I mean? So, like that. So very easy to do. Just a bit of conduit makes it safe. As far as the heels, how do you deal with them? Well, get your all shod so you don't slip. You know yourself, if you slip, oh yeah, next other thing I'll just say, you make 2 holes in here and you use them cable ties. So there's your pipe coming up, your black pipe. You put one cable tie around there fairly tight, slip another cable tie through and through there. Can you see? So we put one cable tie or zip tie around the tube, you know, the tube, the plastic tube. And before you pull it tight, put another one on there loose and pass it through there. Yeah, like that. And you'll find that will just flap about as well when you're going down there. And you've got your red light as well. So I think that's a good thing, nice and cheap to do. And will definitely, your motorists of today, lorries, trucks, vans, they will see you a long way off with that. So that's as much, but fitness with your horse going up hills, that's the thing. The way they're shod helps a lot when the pins are in the right place. Okay.